This is Hannibal from the HannibalTV.com, and I'm live here with a daily news update for you. There hasn't been much news in the world of professional wrestling over the weekend. The big news of today is Cara, who has been working on the SmackDown brand, has asked for his WWE release via social media. I don't know why these people don't ask for their release through the proper chain of command and go to social media instead. That's like quitting your job through social media for normal people that have normal jobs like me. I think it's unprofessional to do. I also think it's unprofessional to be asked out of your contract. These guys make big money and they sign agreements. They know what they're getting into. They should hold themselves to their agreements. There's literally thousands of people that work towards getting WWE contracts and never get them. And then you have these people that are making large sums of money and quitting. So I say, yeah, release them, give the job to someone more deserving. And that's my opinion on that. But I doubt they will release him because I don't think they want to keep this trend going of having wrestlers publicly ask for releases. As I said, that's unprofessional. Matt Travis, unfortunately, is an independent wrestler, was 25 years old, passed away this weekend. He was struck by a dump truck while he was bicycling in New York City, and it was a hit and run. So I drove in New York City WrestleMania weekend. I experienced the traffic. It's horrible. I wouldn't recommend anyone to bicycle in New York City. Big E, there's been some people commenting that they were saying Big E was 300 pounds on Raw or on WWE TV lately. And a lot of people say he's not 300 pounds. On Wikipedia, his weight's listed at 285. I met him once at the Hall of Fame in Iowa, Dan Gable Hall of Fame. He refused to do an interview with me, and he was considerably shorter than me. He's definitely, I would say he's 5'10", maybe 5'9". I don't think he's 300 pounds. I'd say he's 260, 265. Lots of comments today. Patrick J says, RIP Matt. Don't know anything about him, but I wish him my sympathies too and his families. Ralph Vaquero says, thanks for the live chats. In AEW news, Cody Rhodes needed 8 stitches after his Full Gear match over the weekend. From what I understand, that match was very good. Him and Jericho, the Kenny Omega, Dean Ambrose match that closed the show had negative reviews overall. The Wrestling Observer people said it was way too much. They did too much. They did basically a hardcore match, but way too much. And in this day and age, should we really be encouraging hardcore matches? I mean, to me, a hardcore match just looks like stunts, wrestlers performing stunts. But like, you don't want to encourage that on the independent level because there's zero testing on the independent level. And I think it's the wrong way to go. And it got a very bad reaction. Everyone said it was a bad way to end the show. Devious One says, Just Incredible mentioned in his shoot interview, which was released in full today on this channel. So there's a VHS tape of him versus Jericho. Could we get it and post it? I have a feeling if he does have it, it's buried somewhere and not easy accessible. But if I ever see him, I will ask him about it. Someone says, bring back ECW. Well, they did hardcore wrestling better than AEW is apparently doing hardcore wrestling. AEW did it supposedly, likely with a mix of real and fake barbed wire, possibly fake glass. But I mean, I'll tell you this, you do not want independent wrestlers who do not get paid very much. Most independent wrestlers are lucky if they get $50 using those kind of weapons. There's no health insurance for independent wrestling. There's usually no medical people in the back at independent wrestling events. I really wouldn't recommend to any independent wrestler to do hardcore wrestling. Shauna Dawson says, I never comment about the Impact thing with Ken Shamrock. I did a whole video on it that has thousands of hits. Take a closer look if you don't think I commented on that. Hangman Page suffered a stinger in his match with Pac over the weekend at the AEW pay-per-view. Pac has to be one of the most boring wrestlers I've ever seen, in my opinion. Small guy, promos are really boring. Juventud Guerrera won the CWE Canadian Junior title Friday night in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. And of course, Juventud Guerrera is facing the Blood Hunter December 6th when CWE comes to Ottawa. And that event will be recorded for the Hannibal TV. And speaking of events that the Blood Hunter is on, tickets are going to go on sale later this week for Great North Wrestling's Annihilation event in Smith Falls. Haku and Barbarian, the Faces of Fear, taking on the Blood Hunter and Savio Vega. Women's sensation Lufisto will make her Great North Wrestling debut, challenging Jessica Black for the Women's Championship of Canada. There will be an intergender match between Sexy Eddie and Kat Von Goth. Davey Boy Smith Jr. will be challenged by Carl the Leduc of the Leduc family for the Hannibal T heavyweight title and a lot more. So Davey Boy Smith Jr. versus Carl Leduc. That one should be interesting. Carl, of course, appears in the Wrestling with Shadows documentary. More information on that event and the CWE event is at thehannibaltv.com. I've also started a new channel. I used to have a personal channel called Devin Nicholson. I am changing that channel into a full shoot interview channel. I already posted one, but I'm going to post numerous interviews on there. I'm going to start it off as an ad-free channel and search it up, Devin Nicholson. It's going to be my full shoot interview channel. I'll put the link in this description. So for the people that whine and complain on here about the shoot interview clips, even though a lot of my shoot interview clips get more hits than the full shoot interviews on certain subjects, because people don't have the attention span to watch a 3-hour interview with the Honky Tonk Man, for example, that channel is just going to be for full shoot interviews. So that for people that complain about my clips in the future, I will just direct you to that channel. A couple questions. Ralph Burns says, would I partner with Jacques Rougeau to promote events in Quebec? Yes, if he was to help me with Great North Wrestling events, but he's his kids aren't wrestling anymore. They've all quit wrestling. He's quit wrestling, and the kind of wrestling he did was with no punching, no kicking, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but there's no chopping either, no hits. And the way that they would do matches in that company is to practice matches for months on end, which is not a style of wrestling I agree with. So if he would co-promote Great North Wrestling, sure, since his kids aren't wrestling anyways, of course. But right now, he won't even appear on any independent events. He'll do autograph sessions here and there, but he will not even appear at a Great North Wrestling event to sign autographs because he's so passionate about this style of wrestling with no punching and kicking. Mark Montana says, how about bringing in Pentagon Jr. to Great North Wrestling? He's in AEW, isn't he, in AAA? And Canadian fans, I'm not sure if that many of them will know who he is just yet. But I've met him at the PCW Ultra Show last year in California. And by the way, I will be at the PCW Ultra event January 10th in California, covering that event for the Hannibal TV. I'll be doing some shoot interviews while I'm out there. Would I join MLW if they made me the right offer? Yes, but as I was told by some people in MLW recently, they're bringing in new people lately, and a lot of them couldn't even touch me in as far as quality, but for some reason MLW doesn't want to use me as either a wrestler or an interviewer at this point. Maybe that will change in the future, but I mean, I have more subscribers and way more views than MLW's YouTube channel. The cross promotion that a company like MLW or NWA would get from me, or even Ring of Honor, would be huge. So I don't know why all of these companies don't want a guy who's wrestled Terry Funk, Sid Vicious, Kevin Nash, Honky Tonk Man, Brutus Beefcake, Ricky Banderas, Kamala, Abdullah the Butcher. The list goes on and on. AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal, British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, TJ Wilson. The list goes on. Like, I've literally wrestled more big names in the wrestling business than most people under WWE contract that are getting signed now. So, yeah. Anthony says, am I still getting offers from Billy Jerk? Well, I'm interviewing Billy Jack Haynes next weekend in Philadelphia. This weekend, I'm interviewing Hillbilly Jim in Ottawa. Ralph Vaccaro says, I would smash the MLW roster in the ring. Well, I already beat up Tom Lawler. You guys can look up that match here on the Hannibal TV. One last question. How would I deal with Joey Ryan in the ring? That would be a bad match to book. That would be a really bad match to book. Really, really, really bad match to book. Ricky Rodriguez, if I could interview a wrestler that's passed away, who would it be? Oh boy, that's a tough one. Lou Thez maybe would be the first one that comes to mind. Or Mad Dog Vachon. I'm a big fan of Mad Dog Vachon. Who is the most dangerous man in the history of combat sports? I think it's this new wrestler to Great North Wrestling called the Blood Hunter. He seems to be more vicious and violent than anyone I've seen in wrestling.